Hi everyone, our first video is going to start off with some geometry review, and our first topic is going to be about congruence and triangles. We're really going to focus on triangles because that's what our few first lessons are all about, okay? All right, let's get started. All right, the first word I want us to concentrate on is congruent, and I basically wrote a quick definition. Basically says figures are congruent if all sides and angles have the same measure. Okay, and then also the symbol for it. It's basically an equal sign with a little squiggly on top. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to do the notation and how to mark up some figures. Okay, so let's do that next. Okay, so basically I have a notation here. The notation is very important because how you write it actually matters. So I'm going to show you how to read. Well, I'm going to tell you how to read this and, how to say it. So I have a triangle. So we say triangle ABC is congruent to triangle PQR. Okay. The way I write this matters. Order matters. Basically, what I'm saying is angle A is congruent to angle P. B is congruent to Q. C is congruent to R. Okay, and I could do that with sides, so I'm going to show you. So first thing I'm going to start off with is showing you how to mark up the two triangles. So if you look here, I've drawn two triangles, okay? And because order matters, I'm going to show you the notation now. Depends on the teacher or maybe even the book. So a proper notation could be something like this. So it's kind of like a little curve, and you could put a little dash in the middle. So I could say angle A and angle P are congruent. Remember, angle B and Q were congruent. So I could do a half moon, and I could put two lines, or I could just do two half moons. And that means angle B is congruent to angle Q. And then, of course, angle R and angle C are congruent to one another. So it's basically preference. You can do half moon with these little lines and or just keep going with the half moon. So it depends. If it was like a quadrilateral, you might want to go with three lines or just one curve and four little, dashes in between. Okay? So now let's look at the sides. So AB should be congruent to PQ. So that one's simple because all I would do is put a little dash there and a dash there. Okay. And I could keep going. BC should be congruent to QR. So double and double over here. And then the last one should be AC and PR. By the way, you could say CA or RP. It doesn't matter because it's the exact same side. Okay, so whether I'm given the picture or not, it doesn't matter. If all I look at is the notation will tell me exactly which sides and which angles are congruent to one another. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to write this down. Okay, so earlier we were given the notation, or what we also call the congruency statement, and we said triangle ABC is congruent to triangle PQR. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fill this out. Okay. What I did is on the left side, I wrote corresponding sides. On the right side, I put corresponding angles. So we're just going to fill this out. Again, we don't need a drawing for this. All I need is to look at my congruency statement. I can fill this out. Okay. So side AB would be here and side PQ. Okay. Those are the ones that correspond. So all I would have to do is put a little segment on top and write segment PQ. So the way you read this is segment AB is congruent to segment PQ. Okay, and I can keep going. Segment BC should be congruent to segment QR. Okay, and the last one, CA, notice I wrote it as CA. I could also write it as AC. So over here would be RP or PR. So if I look down here and I wrote segment C is congruent, it's okay if I were to write PR because it's the exact same sides. Okay, so that's not a big deal. All right, now over here, corresponding angles. Angle A is congruent to angle P. Okay, I have to put a little angle symbol right in front of the letter. Angle B is congruent to angle Q, and angle C is congruent to angle R. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So again, I don't need a drawing. All I need is my congruency statement, and it gives me all this information. Okay, So hopefully you'll get some practice in a few minutes, and you'll be able to practice these skills on your own, okay? All right, good luck.